good evening, or afternoon, no matter where you are. It's one or the other. Welcome to this pregame show here on IslandStats.com. I'm your host, Earl Baston. Joining me right now is the president of the Bermuda Football Association, Mr. Mark Wade. Mr. Wade, first of all, welcome. First time I'm seeing you in quite some time.
Quite some time. Heard your voice. But good to see you.
Yes. So obviously, taking on the hosting a tournament of such is a big undertaking for any country. We primarily travel a lot, but this is the second time we're hosted the under 17 girls a qualifier here in Bermuda. Just the logistics of putting this all together. Can you just explain what those challenges are on a regular basis?
Sure. So one is obviously it's primarily organized by CONCACAF. So we are in a supported role as the local organizing committee, and our responsibility is ground transportation. We have to ensure everyone has the proper work permits. We have to help and assist them go through passports, also those sorts of things. So we have about 15 to 20 visitors with us, which include the referee group plus match operations group. Before their arrival, we have a lot of discussion with the National Sports Center, obviously, in terms of what the requirements are and what CONCACAF would like to see. Most of it has to do with the field surfaces, both of them. One's used for training, the other one's used for match day. But other logistics as well. We have to support the broadcast team. This year is interesting in itself, is that it's a totally local broadcast team. Normally, certainly with the Nations League matches and World Cup qualifiers, there's an international flair to the broadcast team. But this time around, they've engaged a local firm. And so we have J Rock and Princeton Media with us today. So that's exciting in itself that they have proven themselves to CONCACAF. And so CONCACAF have a local broadcast team, so that's great. And then of course we have to make sure they get into the country, give them some advice on where they should stay. As you may know, we do have to separate teams and match officials from each other as much as we can. And so we're occupying 3 hotels. So that's communicating that side. And then of course we've got our own team to make sure they have everything that they want, and, everything they need and some of what they want.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a pretty big undertaking. It takes in the entire executive as well as the full-time staff to make it all happen.
Yeah, I mean, plus you still have the regular league going on. We have the under 17 boys getting ready to depart. Just making sure everything is in place for things to continue.
Sure.
How difficult has that been? Obviously you put things in place for the league, and that can primarily run. Sometimes you could say it runs by itself, but it doesn't run by itself, does it? It's always hills and bounds that you come up against sometimes.
Sure. And I'll take this opportunity to just shout out to all our committee members. Right, we have several committees that are committed to domestic football and making sure that it goes as smoothly as possible. So we've got our competitions committee, got our youth committee, player development, who will all jump in and make sure things are going as they should be. Even that takes a bit of jumping around. We try not to clash with international matches. So you'll see, like today, for example, there was no girls football today because we wanted the girls to come out and support the under 17s. And even with senior football, we try to make sure that there was not a whole lot conflicting with this match. So there's a lot of ebbing and flowing with games, which is a monumental task in itself. But thankfully, we got through it. And we got through it quietly. A lot of times you heard in public discord, but rather than throw up all the different reasons, we just got on with it. And it's still good, right? So we got the FA Cup game last night. We'll have another one tonight, and then our full slate of FA Cup games tomorrow. And in between that, we got down to 17 girls kind of make it to the World Cup.
Yeah. Obviously, we've seen the first match today, Panama defeating Bonaire 8-0. The most important thing is 3 points tonight, wouldn't you say? Don't worry about a score, just get the points to get on the board.
Yeah, I know that's tournament play, right? You want to win your first match. That's without a doubt. You generally tackle your first match as if it's a cup final, just to get those 3 points over the line, get the settle the nerves, get the girls comfortable, and then you solidify in the third match, and in the fourth you want to be successful. I'm sorry, the third and then be successful again. So, that's kind of how tournament play goes, and we're no different. The girls had a camp during the Christmas break for a couple of weeks, and then they were in all together starting from Monday, but in the hotel on Thursday. So from all reports, they're ready to go. So looking forward to a good match.
Yeah. When we look at fine tuning these young teams, it's a little more difficult than the senior teams, wouldn't you say? Because most of them are in school, and it's easy to get vacation time from work, but when it comes down to school, it's a little more challenging, wouldn't you say?
It's definitely a bit more challenging with school. They have to be on top of the schoolwork, obviously. The last thing we want to do is ask for a player to be excused from school, and the schoolwork's not where it should be. So they've got to do that, and then we have to try and minimize the disruption. We have to kind of also allow for time for study in between prepping for the game. So that's on a sort of personal level, and then trying to get a group of girls some who are on and some who are off, all gel together as quickly as possible to be successful.
Yeah.
So it's a juggle, right? It's like a jigsaw puzzle and juggling balls in the air at the same time.
Yeah. Looking at it looks as if support-wise, and I'm talking, we don't always get the support for, I would say, the ladies and the youth at the national level from, what we see for the men. Is that a bit challenging for the association, or is that just a Bermuda thing?
It's challenging and disappointing, but it's not just a Bermuda thing. When we travel around the region, we see the similar sorts of things in countries like us. When you travel maybe to South America and Central America, the crowds are a bit more, but certainly in the Caribbean, the crowds are similar. To be honest, I think a couple of years ago we hosted the under-20s, and all the girls that came to that were excited to see that many fans, and we kind of definitely punched about leading that month, where we had about an average attendance of about 1,500 people. And Bermudians are, if I'm being frank, Bermudians are fickle. The teams have to be successful. The weather's got to be right. The prices got to be right. You kind of get all those things together, and you try and get the biggest amount of support as possible. For this match, the last ticket count was up at 700. So hopefully we got some more. Now that's a Bermudian thing. Last minute ticket purchases.
Yes.
So hopefully, we got a few last minute ticket purchases, and we got a little closer to 1,000 people. which would be fantastic for the girls.
Rather's not being your friend.
Well, that's not helping. Really not. But let's hope the families, friends and families are diehards and they want to come over and see the girls too.
Mm-hmm. We are joined by co-host Garrett Punchy Dill. Good evening, sir.
Good evening to you all.
Just sitting here having a conversation with the president about this tournament, and obviously, I don't know if you know the earlier game, Panama beat Bonaire 8-0. So and I said to the president, it's not about the score tonight. It's more about just getting the 3 points to get on the board. This team, Mr. President, it's been together for quite some time because a majority of them played last year, or more than a handful of them played last year, so they know what to expect. It's just the base of the younger ones coming in. We often hear, especially in our youth national teams, not just in football but all around, they have a few more years of eligibility. We often hear that kind of thing. How can we turn that page? Because obviously we have a lot of people playing up ages, and even in the senior team for the women, especially for the women. How can we turn that page? Because we're competing against, in this form, it's under 17, but we have quite a few under 15s playing. When can we have all under 17s to kind of, you know what I mean? Because the body feature is different, all that stuff is different. But if we continually put 15s in an under 17, it's going to be a struggle for them.
Well, I think at the end of the day, that's the domestic game that's growing, and specifically about women's football. That's growing the base of women players, right? Which we think we're doing. It's just going to take some time, I think, for players to matriculate to the numbers that we need. We need 25, 30 women of the same age. And as we continue to grow women's football, you'll see that number getting closer and closer. You'll see us getting closer and closer to, maybe we'll get to 18 girls at the age,
right.
And then we'll have some sprinkling of 5 or more. But that's going to take time. If I hazard a guess, we may be about 5 years away from that. Just looking at our youth girls program and looking at the number of girls who are going off to prep school and college, we may be maybe 5 years, maybe more, away from having more and more all in the same breath here.
Before that, Punchy asked a question. Last year, the women's league had 3 teams, 4 teams? 3 teams. What are we doing to kind of get more teams involved, get more players involved now that we're in their off season in preparation for their upcoming season?
So there's been an analysis of the amount of registered players. And there are 60 registered players, under 3 teams. So we're going to try and see how we can encourage all of the 60 players to suit up and play. They all can't play for 3 teams. So how do we encourage them to play for other teams, right? And that's kind of the challenge. Bermuda is still very much community based. So the players are reluctant to play for a different team, and so we have to try and maybe build relationships so they can go and play for another team. So that's the challenge, right? So in any given round of matches where we have 20 on the bench, and I said 60. I'm sorry, there's 90. There's 30 players who aren't playing football. So how can we, encourage them to play elsewhere, right? How can we encourage clubs to put a program in place that's attractive to women, right? That's the other thing that is a struggle, right? So right now we have PHC, Somerset, and Dandytown, who have women's programs. They have a definitive pathway into their senior women's team. So, how can we encourage another club to kind of do the same sort of thing, create this pathway, create an environment that says, yes, we're welcoming to women's players, so that we can get back to, at one point we had 6 teams. It's definitely some particular things that are preventing us doing that. Everybody wants to play for the winners, of course. So we have all those dynamics in play. And I know that the women's committee is thinking of different things to do and how they can make it more attractive. We're looking for a different venue for women's football, more that has more facilities and more amenities to it. They were playing at the BFA. So there's 2 things: that the BFA, the surface, and then of course there are a whole lot of amenities around.
Right.
So we want to try and create that. Maybe there's a venue that will be a little bit more conducive to that women's game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Punch.
Oh yeah, good question. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, very good. Good evening to you both, gentlemen. Mr. President, it's a pleasure to be here with you. I think I have discussed with people about the women's football in Bermuda and how it's growing. But there is a real challenge because there's so many other sports that are also pulling the young ladies today. There's also now young rugby teams, right? There's running teams, there's track teams, right? And there's also cricket. I think what you guys what you're really into is the fact that the challenges that you face for young girls, for young women, is that we don't have a big pool to pay for. Do we have to promote it more in the schools? But that was also a discussion, having the school programs, because that's what you're talking about. As I discussed with the people I talked to the other day, you're talking about young girls between 8 and 15, the school. So maybe the emphasis, would you think the emphasis should be more on the school programs and providing coaching and, bringing that to the forefront? Which you definitely are against it.
So interesting enough, you mentioned the schools, and we have a good idea of how many players play for the schools but don't play for them. So we're looking at that group of players and then trying to determine what's the best way to attract them to play football. It is a struggle during the winter. You mentioned all the sports program, but then there's dance as well. There's netball as well, right? So all that is good in one. So in terms of the youth programming, there's a lot of activity for girls, and but there is that group who play for their school but don't play for clubs, and so we're trying to target that group. The women at the women's level, the senior level, they're playing in their own window, so to speak, right? Which is right after the men's season ends, they start in May, and they play right up until just before college. So that's a nice window where there isn't a whole lot of competition for women, but it's definitely down in the youth and children's age where there's a lot going on Saturday. And we've got this group who play for their schools but don't play for a club. And so we're going to try and target those and see what we can do to attract them. It may, I'm going to talk about the terms, so hopefully my women's committee don't get mad at me, but we may have to look at a different time, right, to play the games, and try and find a slot where maybe Saturday is not it, maybe, right? But we got to put our heads together and figure out how to bring that group on board. And there's nothing wrong with young people playing multiple sports. You just got to be able to give them the opportunity to do so. Right. Yeah.
All right. Well, I know I asked you for 15 minutes. You give me training. But I know you have things to do prior to this game starting tonight. But good luck to the team. You have your hands full over the next 3 weeks because we have this. Like I said, we have the under 17 boys getting ready to depart.
And you on Friday.
Okay, and then
And then we're gonna get jumped right into the girls' playing at home.
yes,
In Costa Rica.
and between that, you got two friendly matches for the men.
Yep.
So
Hard supply.
yeah.
And then we'll be announcing pretty soon we've got an international friendly in March as well.
For the men or the men?
Yeah. The good thing you're busy. You know what's most what's so good about this is that you are providing these competitions like Arsenal Beta is tonight, right?
Yeah.
And the thing about it is what again the people I talk to is just how much the country supports the support that the association is trying to do what they're doing.
Right.
The voice company. It's really important for us to realize in our country, the support that's needed for when people are trying to build a program, do something what you're doing, Mr. President. If I can say that it's supported. It's supported. Like even tonight, like even though it's raining, it's come on and support these young women.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm hoping that when I walk outside those doors, I'm hoping to see 1,000 people. That's my hope.
Well, you can hear noise outside. We can hear noise outside.
Yes. Well, to give you a pat on the back, I'm saying, when I started the game last night, and all the games that I've been to, and the kids that are coming back, and the young people were coming out, because there's a lot of young girls that come out that are playing the game, like the field last night.
Right.
I was like, wow. There was an abundance of young people there who play for these teams and young girls. And of course, what we society is like. But what was most interesting that I think is that you're watching them and they're watching the game.
Yes.
They're chatting, of course, and I think and I looked at the age, it kind of like the age, it's out for them with the dress and they just come up with friends.
Right.
But it's important. It's important that with those the interest shown, that means that we have to really try to support the women's young women's programs in that country, which you guys are trying to do.
All right, sir.
Thank you very much.
Good seeing you.
All the best.
All right. Okay. Well, folks, as we said earlier, Panama defeated Bonaire in the opener earlier today at the National Sports Center, 8-0. So now it's Bermuda's turn. They take on Suriname at 7:00. I believe the team has been announced. Let me just see here. This is the Bermuda team. Okay, Kyra Simmons. Can't see that. Okay, so we have Simmons, Glasgow, Welch, Barry, Seeley, Taylor, Gibbons, Thomas, Olabridge, Showers, Samuels, and Khan is Bermuda's starting lineup. I believe Showers is down as captain. And on the bench, we have Denkins, Beeston Scott, Evans, Waldron, Dill, Medeiros, DePunt, Dean, Curling, Durling, and James. So that's the Bermuda starting lineup and reserves for this opening match that would get underway in approximately an hour. Punchy, a lot of these young people's names were included in this team last year that was playing. Be happy to see them back in action again as a team, because I think one thing that they showed a lot last year was they had a lot of heart. They played, they tried to play to a system. I know from the seniors right down to these young ladies, the coaches talk all the time and they're trying to get them to play together. But just your thoughts on what this team would have to do to get 3 points tonight.
Yeah, it's they've been together for a while. I do. I've heard the the interviews with the coaches and the interviews we did last Sunday
Mhm.
with the two coaches, and the group has been together for a while. Tonight is a very important showcase for them in terms of for women's football at that age group too.
Mhm.
And the people, the team that they're playing is shown there. Well,
Yeah.
we're gonna have a look at them also
Yes.
tonight. But I just think that it's, Earl, for women's soccer, it's a beginning for Bermuda.
Mhm.
I think this is the first for Bermuda in terms of this type of international playing at home with these games.
Yeah, we hosted the under 17s. I want to say maybe 6 or 7 years ago. Eva Frazzoni was the captain of the team. Most of the senior girls now were part of the under 17 teams that we hosted here. And you know, a lot of them talked about the just the nervousness of wanting to produce in front of the home fans. You know, so many times they travel to play their games, but when it's at home, it's a little different because you don't, you want to impress the people that have invested in you, your parents, your friends. They've sacrificed time with you and for you to go training and stuff like that. So they really want to do well in front of the home crowd. So when we talked to those young ladies last week, they talk with a lot of confidence. Like to see what how they're making out on a night like tonight, because when you leave the hotel, it's real now. It's game time. It's not like, oh, we're in Cayman or we're in Barbados or we're in Suriname. We're in Bermuda. When you leave the hotel, the route to the stadium because you know where you're going. You're in Bermuda kind of thing. And it's just a difference. It's almost like when you were playing international football, whenever you got the opportunity to play at home, it was a little different psyche, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. I remember playing against Trinity and coming up to play the whole, I think it was about 2,000 or 3,000 with the under 17 national Trinidadian team playing the Bermuda national
Right.
team. And it was a lot of nerves and a lot of nerves. But it's for Bermuda. It's new. This is a new what we are dabbling like under 17s and women's soccer, and it's coming. So women's soccer becoming so popular worldwide.
Right.
But just having the feeling of the girls tonight, I can understand it's going to be nervy for them.
Mhm.
It's going to be nervy for them. And plus, who they're playing in Suriname.
Right.
So it's going to be interesting in terms of the coaches are,
Mhm.
how the setup, how they will go about this game.
Right.
And after 15 minutes, you kind of get a feel of how the game's going to go.
Yeah.
Are they a little bit, the Bermuda women, do they look a little bit, maybe just playing in front of the home crowd, like you said, maybe they play at home, in front of the mothers and the fathers and the brothers and the
Mhm.
aunties. Maybe they just staying calm, and again, it's the first time for them.
Right.
And I think that what we talk about also, the first game is always important.
Oh
The
yes.
first game is always important. As women to get off to a good start, because as you saw today, that like you said, Panama seems to be
Yeah. They'll be the team to beat.
they're the team to beat
Yeah.
in this
This group, yeah.
tournament here.
Mhm.
This qualifiers. So
Yeah.
it's going to be very important just what we do tonight. What also is going to be interesting, Earl, is how like what the coaching staff has done.
Mhm.
We spoke with them also
Yes.
with Kyle and
With Gary Adams,
Gary Adams,
and Carl Roberts.
Carl
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
yeah, but they say with a little bit of freedom of expressing yourself.
Mhm.
But I think the challenge is now this is on the 17th.
Yes.
What we're going to be looking for mostly is like just how well they managed the game tonight
Mhm.
in front of the home,
Yeah.
in front of the home crowd.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen them play like in this type of competition. They got a game tonight.
Mhm.
They got to play. I think Bermuda is probably going to be the weaker team in this tournament,
Mhm.
from what I saw,
Yes.
from what that scoreline suggested.
Mhm.
But Panama the biggest. But so it's the first time for them. Recovery is also important, but they're young, they're 17.
Yes, yes.
It's just going to be interesting. And then we talked with Kyle, and then the coaching staff is talking about this, the way we're going to play.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another interesting, how interesting it is to see exactly
Right.
what system they play, how confident the girls look.
Mhm.
And of course, the weather.
Yeah.
It's going to be a major part. I think that's the first thing.
That's a big thing because we know that the stadium is fast.
Yes.
The surface is fast. With the added weather, with the wind coming up and so forth, it makes it even more challenging, especially if they wanted to play the ball along the ground. Now it's got to be more too direct to the player as opposed to putting the ball into space.
That's right.
Because then you get all out of positions, chasing a lot of the balls. But again, you make a good point that it's up to the coaching staff to have another plan. That if plan A is not working, we need to revert to something different. And I think if they have enough confidence to have people to put the foot on the ball, I think that will be the difference in the game.
But the other point is like the other team, like Suriname and Panama, the Central America, the Suriname, Central American teams that the way they play.
Yes.
Most of the time it doesn't change
Mm-hmm.
because of the culture.
Yes.
And I think what tonight we have to realize is that when I watched the Surinamese teams play, when they came here years ago, the senior national team.
Right.
You know how close they are to South America also.
Yes.
But football has changed. So Suriname is also going through a change also in terms of how they play. But again, when we're all going to be new to this to see just how, let's see just how good these Bermuda girls play and Suriname play, and just see the quality of this tournament, this qualifying here, the quality, because it gets harder, as you get the question that comes out. I think it's just one person that comes out.
One, just the group winner goes through. So it's all about now. It's all about 3 points each night. As long as even if we beat Suriname, we got to win tonight because it's all about those points. You don't want to fall too far behind Panama already. You want to make sure that you stay in line with them, and then realizing that they play Suriname on Monday and we play Bonaire on Monday. So it's all about looking forward to how things develop over tonight, and then Monday, and then on to obviously Wednesday. So
it's whenever I play these tournaments at the national level, you're playing when we were down and playing for the Pan American Games in the Dominican Republic, and we were with Panama, Mexico, Barbados, the Bahamas, and it was vital that the first game that we played, we come up with nothing less than a goal. And I think the first game was against Panama,
right,
and we beat them. We beat Panama, and so. The second game, we drew against Mexico. But the point is, when you go to a tournament, it's 4 teams, and in that tournament, 2 came out, right? But in this tournament, one's coming out. So it's most important that you win your first game. Your first game is most important, and how you go about it. I think maybe we'll get hopefully that we get surprised like what we see with these young girls. Again, just listen to the 2 young ladies that they were on the show last Sunday,
right,
and what they spoke. They look very confident. They look very, when you spoke with them again, and you were talking about the fact it's the first time for them to interview, but also we were reminded also there will be quite a few people watching this game.
Yes.
Yeah, but we need some overseas.
Yes.
People are clicking in about this, and so people, Bermudians are living quite spread out now. We're living all a lot of places. So they will be tuning in on this game, and whether in England, whether in Canada, the United States, whoever people will be tuning in. So it's important that I think that tonight's performance bodes well with what the association is doing. It probably is a little bit of pressure, probably a pressure on the coaches to return so far.
Yeah.
These are, the coaching staff, and I'm glad I said it on Sunday, that having Carl there, Carl's been around for a while, to help. And also the information, those two guys together, I think what's going to be interesting to see what we spoke about, what they're looking for, and the end product. I think that's what we're talking about tonight.
Yeah. It's. I often talk about this, especially at the stadium when our national teams are playing at home. A lot of people try to tell players where to play the ball, what you know what I mean, because you hear that a lot, and it's. I think that these young ladies are smart enough to make sure that they concentrate on what their coaches are telling them and not get caught up and a familiar voice shouting out to them to do this and do that and do the other. And I think that's the education part for the spectator. That the coaches are there trying to make sure that everybody does the job that's been asked of them to do, because we're not in the changing room, so we're not sure what the coaches asked the number 5 to do or the number 10 to do. You know what I mean? Those type of things. So if they're asking them to do certain things and people are on the sideline, making decisions for them, it's just one of those things that we need to make sure that the players stay focused on what the coaching and what the team plan is, and get the job done that way.
Good point. Very good. I think very important to just mention it about that type of knowledge you heard from your parents. What the coaches give you one style which you think you should be doing.
Right.
And you hear from your parents, especially when you go home, you definitely live with them. Right. And then that causes like a conflict in the person's mind. So it is at this age how well tuned in they are, how well the coaches put them mentally prepared for this game. That they can tune in on that 100%.
Right.
When they step on that field, and to what they would hear from the stands.
Yeah.
It's very challenging.
Right.
It's very challenging. I've been there 17 years old, and I didn't know. And I was going to show you, with my brothers, look, this is going to be prepared for this and that. It's not easy. No. It's not at all.
No. And you see that domestically as well, because because Bermuda's unique in the sense that the fans are right on top of the field. The stadium, the fans are so far away from the field, so people tend to get a little louder. You know what I mean, and those type of things. But I think for the most part, domestically, players handle that well, and it's just when we get to the international arena that we need to make sure that the players handle that just as well. A lot of times it's those familiar voices. When we were playing, or when you was playing, you knew somebody. That person could be just talking, and that's so and so. Oh, that's so and so. I know who that is because you know that person's voice, kind of thing. So it's just making sure that there's small things you're able to push aside and so forth. But it'll be good to see, especially get a good start tonight. Like you said, after 10 minutes, you want to see just what the team is putting down. So are they fulfilling what the coaches have asked them to do? Are they beating their girls? Those type of things. So it's important that everybody understands their role right from the warm up.
Yes.
Because that's the important part, because you get those jitters out when you come out on the field to warm up.
But the other thing we touched base on in terms of about development in this country, I think this will be spoke with the president about development, about the schools, because that's where it is. That's where the young girls are.
Right.
And I think more emphasis, if we're gonna, more emphasis got to be put on the coaching at the school level.
Yes.
Right. At that level, the tournaments, and just promoting it.
Yeah.
You just can't have anyone. And where the association seems to be headed is that we want to start growing.
Yes.
Even if we're a small nation.
Yes.
In these competitions are these under 15 girls and
Mhm.
under 15 boys,
Right.
17. And we'll always talk about what's most of what we talk about the region that we always have to compete on to come
Yes,
out of,
yes.
which is Caribbean.
Yes.
Some, and then we'll talk about that also. Those countries that we put a dollar, the access
Yes.
and the process, the access and the takes.
Mm-hmm.
And again, tonight it's going to be, I think it's really about what we see about the young girls,
Mm-hmm.
the strengths and the weaknesses,
Yes.
and where the country is going to help them to go to another level.
Right.
They were also talking about they've been overseas in training, they've been doing quite a bit preparation for
Right.
this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, it comes down to tonight, the nerves.
Yes.
That's really what it will come down to. That were the team together or yesterday that they stay overseas?
Yeah. They've been together since they've been training all week,
Yes.
but they checked into the hotel on Thursday. The president's there, so they're together until Wednesday night, Thursday.
This is
It's
it's new for it's it might be quite a bit of overwhelming for someone, but if the coaching staff just calm down, the young girls in front of the home court
right.
with, like you said, staying in the hotel,
Mm-hmm.
and get ready for a tournament in front of your home court.
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost like, okay, we're acting as if we're abroad. You know what I mean? We're
Yes.
acting, but we're home. So it's a matter of just doing the things that we would do when we were away. The training, the eating, the all the stuff that we would do if we're off the island is what we're going to do while we're on the island.
Yeah.
And hopefully those other distractions we can keep to the side and make sure that everybody's focused and tuned in. I'm pretty sure the coaches had words while they were on the bus coming here, and because the thing is, you have to keep them as calm because you'll have some in the team that are nervous, and you'll have some in the teams that are full of confidence, but that confidence can you have to tame it as well. You have to make sure that they don't kind of go too far away from the team because the others are kind of like, let me just see what happens first. You know what I mean? So and the good thing about coaches is you identify those players, then you spend time with them, and you understand what this person likes and what this person don't like. A coach will tell you, I know I can shout at Punchy, but I can't shout at Mark. You know what I mean? Those are the type of things that you have to always be cognizant of, and the player, because if you shout at a player that's not used to hearing somebody being aggressive to them, they go in the shower and it's very difficult to get them out of it, kind of thing. So they have to be confident of what they're going to say, when they're going to say it, and how they're going to say it, and not just be frustrated.
But the other point factor in this is what we're talking about. We're utilizing the national program, the coaches.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of things, still a lot of questions being asked about the quality of the coaches. Like Kyle's been around a while,
Mm-hmm.
and he's coached. He's been in Andrew's program also.
Mm-hmm.
So there's definitely you will see some discipline in the girls and the whole
Yes.
tactics also.
Mhm.
How he plays the system or what he wants from the girls.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be interesting also as a group when they talk about if they're young, they've been together for a while, and it's going to be interesting to see just how they hold up to this tonight. I mean, it's just unbelievable. It really, really is. And I was always telling my brothers last night, all you guys just come watch it and support it.
Right.
And support the national board, what we're trying to do,
Mm-hmm.
what the country is trying to do. And I think we were located, we're not isolated, but the
Right.
more we start getting, even after, say if this doesn't work out, there's something, we don't manage to get.
We don't
Come on,
advance.
right.
Right.
But what do we do after that also is very
Yeah.
important. too.
It is.
Yes, it's very
Because
important to have a,
in order to get people to stay involved in the program, you have to have what is next.
yes.
Not that, okay, we don't get through this run. What is next for this group? Is it just, oh, well, look out for the senior team? That's because you kind of age up, you know what I mean?
Right.
But you have to have things in place for them to keep striving towards, you know? And I think that's what encourages more people to get involved in anything is they could see a plan. Whether or not we actually execute the entire plan is irrelevant because at least I see a plan and I want to be involved in this process kind of thing, you know? But if it's just, okay, we're gonna play this and then what's next? The other thing is CONCACAF, FIFA, and CFU now are having these tournaments every year, the youth tournaments. So which now we have incentive for the young people that if they can make the sport, you know what I mean? They can make a sport. Just work hard, and if you don't make it this year, look forward to making it next year. You know, things happen in sports all the time. You know, be prepared because somebody might get injured in the lead up, and your name's next, and you know you just have to be ready, kind of thing. You know, those are the things that we need to keep encouraging people.
That's right, and I think you said it right. Look, let's say when summertime comes on, these young girls, do we have a maybe 6-side tournament for them this summer, twice a week, up in the stadium and promote it so that they're continuously playing. Because you don't have in this country. At the football program, it comes cricket. And some of them introducing cricket also. So that's also up for discussion in terms of development.
Right.
And all these young girls, and you know, for women's soccer is exploding, and we want to be a part of that, especially in this region. I think the most important part is how well we do in our region first,
Yes.
and how we go about doing well. You know, how we play, and
let's be consistent in that.
how we play, and especially against the bigger teams.
Yes.
And so now it's coming the same thing. Starting with those teams that would look like Panama.
Yeah.
And you know the interesting fact is, we talk about this here. Sometimes we start this on those countries.
Yes.
What is Panama done?
What are they doing to
What are they doing in
improve?
the school programs? Maybe there's another discussion to be had about that in terms of the countries like in Jamaica. Let's go to send a group of people out to watch what they do in the school programs. Because I know us, and this goes back to that discussion about you watch the Jamaican. Sometimes they'll be doing it's on Flow Sports.
Yes.
And you watch high school games.
Yes.
You see people at the games. So it's probably going to be just like for the young girls soccer too. It might not be, but I just like in Jamaica and Trinidad,
Right.
how important that sport is to their country.
Well, school sports is almost like parish sports in Bermuda, how we used to have the shower cricket.
That's right.
It wasn't about the clubs, it was more about the parish. So schools represent parishes and people support that like that. And that's why you see those big crowds out there. And from that age, those kids learn what competition's about. Because nobody wants to lose a school match. And then when you get to a club, that is embedded in you, that you play from your heart and you play with all the ability you got each and every time you go out there. So, that's taught from a young age. I don't think we have that passion yet in our school system, only when we start losing and that people start losing their hair, you know what I mean? And then you see those hard tackles go in and all that type of stuff. I think Bermudians, it's fickle because when we're not doing well, we resort to a different style of behavior because we haven't learned how to lose yet. As many times as we're lost, we haven't learned how to lose yet. You know what I mean? Because when we win, we want to be boasting and all in people's faces and all that. But when we lose, we don't want that same thing in return kind of thing. You know what I mean? And I think if we learn how to challenge each other in a way that it's a battle on the field, but it's friendship off the field type of thing, I think that's where we'll start to turn a corner in our sports in general.
Well, I think very good point again, though. I think also now analyzing it, so you know the local soccer football, the
Mhm.
local footballs now you can actually watch it.
Right.
So once you start questioning the ability of certain players
Hmm.
and the quality, you start analyzing the passes, what
Yeah.
they do well, what they don't do well, are they in shape,
Yeah.
what kind. So it's gonna, and having that and saying that, it's very important that that data, and whatever you look at, because I try to help, just give some information to my nephew,
Right.
who's coaching the Dolphins about statistics,
Right.
and this is what's happening. So the point, what I'm saying is that now these games can be watched.
Yes.
The senior games can be watched. This
Mhm.
game tonight will be watched by a lot of people.
Yes. Yes.
Just under 17, what would they expect from under 17 girls?
Mhm.
What level they should be playing at?
Right.
And consistent, how well they play, how organized they are, and again the system we play. So
Yes.
that's also important. What's going on in our local
Right.
football program now?
Yeah.
I call it, you can't hide now.
No.
You can't. Yeah, your distribution is poor.
Right.
When you should, this goal should have been scored,
Hmm.
and so it should be, that should be a very important part for development.
Yeah.
So that you know, because there might be, well, really people will tell you, but you didn't visually see it
Right. Unless you were there.
unless you were there. Yeah, okay. Well, Punchy, yeah, you guys played well, but your courses were poor.
Right.
Which, so I think it's the growth. It really help us, and it should help us. And I think that last, a part what we're talking about, how the leaders are going to play.
Hmm.
What style of football suits this country now?
Right. Yeah. And I often hear you talk about that, and that's one of the things that we need to identify. How do we want to play? What is our strength? Where can we advance? Those are the type of things that I think we need to sit down and talk about as far as that system. We don't have 6-footers.
That's right.
We have our structure, our build, even talking to Coach Finley. But we could talk to Coach Finley, but are we also talking to the under-13 coach for the boys?
Yeah.
Or even for the girls?
Exactly.
Because it don't make no sense waiting until they get to the national team, the senior national team, and then we're going to play this way because this is our strength. We should be doing it at the youth levels. So when as the body gets stronger and they get into the senior team, it's already in the system of play. You know what I mean? So I think that's one of the things that we need to see consistent across the board. And we should see some style of that tonight with the girls, because if there's a system played at the senior level, that system should be played throughout our national team.
Yeah, right now. That's exactly.
Yeah.
And most countries do abide by that.
Yeah.
This is almost like whether you're in Spain or Germany or
Mhm.
England, there's a system that they play to.
Yeah.
And again, of course, it's rather the condition. But the point is, I think you guys have discussed it quite a bit,
Hmm.
often about the first of all, the identity of the way you play in the
Yes.
country and the type of people, the personalities that you have, our culture. It's all important.
Hmm. Hmm. I believe the match is being streamed on CONCACAF Go
Yeah.
at 7 o'clock. That's an opportunity for those overseas who are not going to be at the stadium. So CONCACAF Go, I believe, is where the match will be shown. But Punchy, it's really, really important that, and we keep saying it, is that we get a good start tonight, and those girls leave the field feeling good about themselves. And I think that's where, come Monday, they'll go into that game, with their chest held high that they deserve to be here. You know what I mean? And they can get over whatever is in front of them. So it's that challenge. They're out on the field tonight. They're out there warming up. getting used to the conditions and getting used to that ball speed. For Suriname, this will probably be something totally different for them. This field is extremely fast, and we know that because we've seen it over and over and over with the men playing and even with the women playing, or just finals being played up here. It's raining, so the balls can hit the ground, and it on a good day, the ball hits the ground and takes off. Tonight will be a lot faster.
The pitch is going to be much. The ball's going to be moving so fast. Yeah. Your first touch is going to be very important. Decision making and is what I'm going to be looking at too. The decisions that they make on the ball and without the ball. And then again, we're talking about first tournament that's been held on the 17th, like a tournament like this in Bermuda.
Right.
And so there will be nerves. But I just hope that when we talk about qualification and we'll, like the way it's set up now. So let's say, for instance, we get a win tonight, which I think is most important.
Yeah.
Most important. Then we're going to play the good thing with Joy is that we're now going to Bermuda next. Right. So with what the result today, what Panama did, I think if we win tonight, then that should be a given.
Right.
Then it will be a 1-0 against Panama.
Yeah.
And I've seen in the papers and I've heard people talk about the Panamanian and also the technical abilities, what they are with Panamanians again, Central American football.
Right.
It's gonna be interesting, tonight. Again, let's go to tonight's game again.
Right.
Good start on the center conditions. Salvador, make sure that you don't give up an early goal, which we always talk about. Do not give up an early goal. You always see over 10 or 15 minutes what the team plays like.
Right.
If they're a good passing team, and that's what you have to recognize. Really, that would be up to the coaches staff.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's what they probably laid to the players.
Right.
Also.
Identify that.
Yeah.
Because this is the first time that both teams are actually seeing each other. So they don't know anything about us and we don't know anything about them. But the way the game is, you could figure those things out in the first 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Who the ball's going through, who the ball is who's the setup person, who's the finishing person, those type of things you identify right away, and then you make your adjustments. As we know, the South Americans are very physical. Our girls prepared for that.
That's right. Yeah.
Physicality, you know what I mean? Because they like to touch you early, so they don't have to worry about you later on. You know what I mean? And I know some of our young ladies like to be physical as well. But can they take it? That's going to be the key.
I remember when I was playing when we came to play against Trinidad. It was very good. There, of course, the Trinidad Saturday national team had also been doing camps in Brazil.
Right. Yeah.
They were very good. But we were told right away, let's not sit around and get on the field and watch them play. Right. You work. You chase every ball, and when you get the ball back, be very correct in what you do. And that was just when I was about the journals, of course. Right. But that's another thing here. If you first 10, 15 minutes, you see Suriname, which is we think it's their culture, right? That they will pass the ball around a lot. And do the Bermuda girls sit off, or do they go to try to put pressure on them? Right. Pressure. Right. And again. That will be a real. It's going to be a real. When you look at it, when you start watching, when you say the first 10 to 15 minutes, okay, guys, I know you coaches have discussed this. Right. So if this doesn't work, what you guys do? I just think that, like I said, once you get up your nerves and just play, and start just staying concentrated a lot, and I think it's so important now that we win tonight. We don't lose tonight. Yeah,
it's important.
It's important. Yes, it is. It's very important. And again, when you don't know your opponent, that's why you've got to try to implement your type of football on them. And that's what will be important for Bermuda tonight. How are we going to take the game to them tonight?
Yeah. Well, just run down this Bermuda team. Kyra Simmons, is that Tate Glasgow, Evans Welch, Antoinette Barry, Janaya Seeley, Avery Taylor, Milan Gibbons Thomas, Daly Otterbridge, Zalay Showers, is that Nyla Samuels, and Riley Khan is the starting lineup for Bermuda with Sydney Denkins, Samanya Baston Scott, Razani, Evans Waldron, Priya Dill, Nadia Medeiros, Maya DuPont, Kyra Dean, Chloe Curling, Kaylee Doling, and Amaya James. Those are the reserves for tonight's match. So good luck to the Bermuda team with Gary Adams, Carl, what's going on with the last name? Carl Roberts, the assistant coach. Senior moment. Michelle Painter is the goalkeeper coach. Jaleesa Robinson is the physiotherapist. Jake Littlejohn is the physical trainer. Dion Dolan is the kit person, and the team manager is Giovanna Douglas. That's the staff for the under-17 women's team as they prepare to take on Suriname at the top of the hour. We're some 25 minutes away. We are going to again advise you that the match will more than likely be on CONCACAF Go at 7 o'clock. And we want to wish these under-17 girls all the best tonight as they represent all of us across this island, and those watching from Bermuda that are abroad as well. So Punchy, I'll say to you, go get your seat.
Yes.
Let's see how these young ladies make out. We will be back on Monday at 6 p.m. with another pregame show, bringing you the roundup of tonight's match, and obviously, hopefully, talk with some of the players and bring that to you as well. So we're going to sign off, and we'll be back on Monday. Don't miss tomorrow night. We'll be back with the football show at 6 p.m. FA Cup Day. We saw a big one last night. North Village getting the better of Dendy Town, and Devonshire Cougars defeating one of the Corona League teams 9-0. So we look forward to more football tonight and across the weekend and getting into Monday. So again, folks, we'll be back on Monday for another pregame show before Bermuda face Bonaire. So with that, we sign off and say have a good night. Good luck, Bermuda.